Hey, 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 hey. Hi, it's me, Laura. Or I think maybe you guys know me as what? Grandma Philip. So we are on chapter 4. But in the book, they're using Roman numerals. So chapter 4 is a 1. You have to let an I and a V for Roman numerals. So maybe Mama can help you with learning Roman numerals. So here we go. Henry has 2 surprises. Chapter 4, or Roman numerals. Here we go. We are reading The Boxcar Children. And I do not own the rights to the book. I am just reading it. So hello. This is story time. Do you enjoy story time? I enjoy story time. It's fun to read. Yes, it is. Do you know how to read? If not, you need to learn, because learning is fun. Yes, it is. Learning is fun. And you know that if you can read, you can learn just about anything, because most things are in books. So let's read chapter 4. Henry has 2 surprises. Jessie whispered, "Keep still." The 3 children did not say a word. They sat quietly in the boxcar, looking at the bushes. "I wonder if it's a bear," thought Benny. Soon something came out, but it wasn't a bear. It was a dog. Do we have a dog in our life? We do, and his name is Casey. That's my interjection in the book. Which hopped along on 3 legs, crying softly and holding up a front paw. "Oh, the pup must be hurting." "It's all right," said Jessie. "It's only a dog, but I think he is hurt." The dog looked up and saw the children, and then he wagged his tail. "Poor dog," said Jessie. "Are you lost? Come over here and let me look at your paw." "Let me look at your paw." The dog hopped over to the boxcar, and the children got out. Jessie looked at the paw and said, "Oh dear, you poor dog. There is a big thorn in your foot. Oh, that would hurt." The dog stopped crying and looked at Jessie. "Good dog, good dog. Good dog." And we give him kisses. "Good dog," said Jessie. "I can help you, but maybe it will hurt." "Yeah, it's going to hurt to pull out that thorn. Oh, if we had a thorn in our foot, it's going to hurt." The dog looked up at Jessie. "Oh," said the dog, and wagged his tail again. "Violet," ordered Jessie, "please wet my handkerchief in the brook." Jessie sat down on the stump and took the dog in her lap. She patted him and gave him a little piece of bread. Then she began to pull out the thorn. It was a long thorn, but the dog did not make any noise. Jessie pulled and pulled, and at last the thorn came out. How wonderful! Violet had a wet handkerchief ready. Jessie put it around the dog's paw, and he looked up at her and wagged his tail a little. He wants to say, "Thank you, Jessie," cried Violet. "He is a good dog not to cry." "Yes, he is," agreed Jessie. "Now I had better hold him for a while so that he will lie down and rest his leg." Yes, we want to hold the pup and tell the pup we love you. "We can surprise Henry," remarked Benny. "Now we have a dog." "So we can," said Jessie, "but that was not my surprise. I was going to get a lot of blueberries for supper. Blueberries are so good." "Can't we look for blueberries while you hold the dog?" asked Violet. "Yes, you can, Jessie," said Jessie. "Look over there by the big tree." Benny and Violet ran over to look. "Oh, Jessie," cried Benny. "Did you ever see so many blueberries? I guess 5 blueberries." "No, I guess 10 blueberries." Jessie laughed. "I guess there are more than 5 or 10, Benny," she said. "Get a clean towel and pick them into it." Blueberries, yummy. For a while, Jessie watched Benny and Violet picking blueberries. "Most of Benny's blueberries are going into his mouth," she thought with a laugh. "But maybe that's just as well. He won't get so hungry waiting for Henry to come back with the milk." "I know, it's hard when you're picking berries not to want to eat them." "I know, 'cause they're so good." She carried the dog over to the children and sat down beside them, the dog on her lap. With her help, the towel was soon full of blueberries. Yummy blueberries. "I wish we had some dishes," Jessie said. "Then we could have blueberries and milk." "Never mind," said Violet. "When Henry comes, we can eat some blueberries and then take a drink of milk." Blueberries and fresh milk. When Henry came, he had some heavy bundles. He had 4 bottles of milk and a bag and a loaf of brown bread, and also some fine yellow cheese. Cheese and bread and blueberries. What a wonderful meal that's going to be. He looked at the dog. "Where did you get that fine dog?" he cried. "He came to us," said Benny. "He is a surprise for you." Henry went over to the dog, who wagged his tail. "Yeah, wag, 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 wag." Because you see, dogs are special. They are good friends. Yes, they are. Henry patted him and said he ought to be a good watchdog. "Why is the handkerchief on his foot?" "He had a big thorn in his foot," answered Violet. Said Jessie took it out and put on the handkerchief. It hurt him, but he did not cry or growl. "His name is Watch," remarked Benny. "Oh, is it?" said Jessie, laughing. "Watch is a good name for a watchdog." "Did you bring some milk?" said Benny, looking hungrily at the bottles. "I should say I did," replied Henry. 4 bottles. Wow, 4 bottles of milk. "Poor old Benny," said Jessie. "We'll have dinner now, or is it supper?" must be supper, said Henry, for soon we'll have to go to bed. Tomorrow we'll eat 3 times, said Jessie. 3 meals. Now Jessie liked to have things in order, and so she put the laundry bag on some pine needles for a tablecloth. Then she cut the loaf of brown bread into 5 big pieces. The cheese was cut into 4. Dogs don't like cheese, remarked Benny. The poor little boy was glad, too, for he was very hungry. Violet put the 4 bottles of milk on the table. Oh, wow. And Jessie put some blueberries and cheese on each place. Blueberries, cried Henry. Jessie, you had 2 surprises for me. I'm sorry, we haven't any cups, Jessie said. We'll have to drink out of the bottles. Now all come and sit down. So supper began. Look, Benny, said Henry. You take some blueberries, then eat some brown bread, then some cheese, then take a drink of milk. Oh, yummy, yummy. It's good, said Benny. He began to put some blueberries in his mouth. The dog had supper too. Jessie gave him bread as he lay on the ground beside her, and he drank milk out of her hand. What a very kind dog, and how kind of Jessie to give him some milk. When supper was over, there was some milk left in each bottle. We'll have the rest of the milk for breakfast, said Jessie. Tonight we are going to sleep on beds. Let's go get some pine needles now. Soon the children had a big pile. Henry jumped into the boxcar, and Jessie gave him the pine needles. He made 4 beds in one end of the car. This side is the bedroom, said Jessie. What will the other side be? Asked Benny. He made a bedroom in the boxcar. How fun! The other side, asked Jessie. Let me think. I guess that will be the sitting room, and maybe some of the time it will be the kitchen. Then she said, Come now, come and get washed. She took the cake of soap and went down to the brook. What will be fun? That will be fun, Benny, said Violet. We'll splash our paws in the brook just like little Brown Bear does. She knew that Benny did not like to be washed. What is that about little boys? They don't like to get all washed up. But I know my little boys, they like to get washed up, don't they? It's good to be clean. The children, they were all very hot, and so they were glad to splash in the cold water. Benny put cold water and soap on his face with the others and dried his hands on a towel. We'll have to have a line to dry the towels on, said Jessie. So they took the string out of the laundry bag and tied one end of it to a tree. The other end of the string they tied to the boxcar. This made a good clothesline. Then, when she had washed one towel and Violet had washed the other one, they hung both towels on the clothesline. It looks like home, said Henry. See the washing, she laughed. Jessie was thinking, we ought to get some water to drink before we go to bed, she said. But what shall we put it in? Let's put all the milk into one bottle, said Henry. Then we can fill the other 2 with water. What a good idea these young people have. Good, said Jessie. You go alone to the fountain, Henry. You can hide if anyone comes along. Henry went out very quietly and soon came back with 2 bottles full of cold water. Benny drank a little, but he was almost asleep. The other children helped him into the boxcar. Then they all climbed in. Jessie, carrying the dog, he lay down at once beside her. "It is so hot that we'll leave the door open," said Henry. Soon they were fast asleep, dog and all, and the moon came up, but they did not see it. This was the first time in 4 days that they could go to sleep at night, as children should. So we've just finished story time with the Boxcar Children in Chapter 4. We will soon be starting Chapter 5, and in Roman numerals, it is a V. 5 in Roman numeral is V. Thank you for joining me for story time. I sure enjoy reading and spending a little time with you. I love you. Yes, I do. So I'm going to be sending you hugs and kisses and all my love. So have a good day and or good night, depending on when you're listening. And remember, reading is good for you. Yes, it is. So you need to learn to read. You can join in on reading the Boxcar Children with me. And I got my book at the library. My library is the Whitesboro Public Library. What is your library? You can check out books and you can learn to read. Reading time is fun time. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.